Hello, my name is Shawn Buckley. Some of you will know me as the lead counsel for the National Citizens Inquiry in Canada. As a lawyer, I have 29 years of experience in the area of natural health products and running interference with our regulatory body, Health Canada. Now, I'm here to talk about basically how Health Canada is moving us in Canada so that we're going to lose access to our natural treatments and be forced strictly into a chemical drug model. Now, it's curious, and I want to contrast with what's happened in the United States because we moved halfway into a chemical drug model, and you're not there yet. So, both Canada and the United States, our chemical drug regulations are very similar, and they were never intended to be used for natural health products or what you call dietary supplements. But as these products became more popular, in especially late 80s, early 90s. So both the FDA in the United States and Health Canada in Canada started to impose the chemical drug regulations on these products. And products were disappearing and companies were going under, and we rebelled. So in the United States, the rebellion actually led to a change of the law. You guys passed the Dietary Supplements Health and Education Act of 1994, where you classed natural products as foods. And the law actually put in a legal presumption. So natural health products are deemed to be safe in the United States, and you don't need any government pre-approval to sell a natural product for a therapeutic purpose. Well, we have a citizen rebellion in Canada, and just like the United States, the government had to back down. And just like the United States, the government looked at it. So you had Congress look at it. We had our Standing Committee of Health in our House of Commons, held broad consultations. What should we do with natural products? And they were clear, they're too safe really to worry about. Do not treat them like drugs. Don't impose a chemical drug model on them. And now, despite those recommendations, where we should have followed what the United States did, our regulatory body it took them about 6 years. They just stalled this and then put us halfway into a chemical drug model. So whereas in the United States, they're deemed to be foods, we're deemed to be drugs. In the United States, they're by law deemed to be safe. In Canada, because they're drugs, they're deemed to be unsafe. In the United States, you don't need to get government pre-approval to sell one. In Canada, you have to get government pre-approval in the form of a license. Now, when I say we were moved halfway into the chemical drug model, there were two concessions. And the first concession is that now we have to prove that they were. We didn't have to run double-blind clinical trials. We could use traditional use evidence. So, if I like to use ginger tea as an example. I mean, first of all, it's ridiculous that if, we've been using ginger tea for 1,000 years to treat nausea, that all of a sudden we need government permission. But we do, but we don't need clinical trial evidence. We can just point to this traditional use. Now, the other concession was we didn't have to pay the chemical drug licensing fees. They have to pay a fee to get through the licensing process. They have to pay quite large fees, even for the right to manufacture. We were exempted from that. All of that is changing, and now we're being moved fully into a chemical drug model where the requirements will be exactly the same as for the chemical over-the-counter drugs. Now, one of the big things this means is we're going to lose the right to use traditional use evidence to prove efficacy, and that's going to be a train wreck. Nobody's done an analysis of what percentage of our natural products are licensed under traditional use evidence, but I would estimate at least 3/4. So those products are going to be gone. Another real problem is right now we can get licensed for any condition. But Health Canada's told us under the self-care framework, we're only going to license you for the most minor conditions, only conditions that you would self-treat. So if it's a condition for which you would seek the advice of a healthcare practitioner, so let's talk about that. So a naturopathic doctor, homeopathic doctor, traditional Chinese practitioner, nutritionist, herbalist, anyone, any healthcare practitioner, if it's a condition for which you would seek their advice, well, we're not going to license you, says Health Canada. Well, our only other licensing pathway in Canada is the new drug approval process, and we can't get through that. So we're going to lose all of the products that our healthcare practitioners use to treat us. So what's going to happen to our healthcare practitioners? We're going to lose them, and we're going to lose those healing traditions because they won't have access to any products. Now, it's funny when I lecture to, practitioners, I keep, oh, well, we're just going to go underground and have illegal products. Well, Health Canada just changed the law to impose the chemical drug company fines on us. So before, we were subject to a maximum $5,000 fine if we didn't comply. And now we're subject to $5 million per day fines that there's a violation. And so they're just tamping down on us dramatically, and they are going to be imposing these fees. And so what's going to happen in Canada is those few products that remain are going to be so expensive that no one can afford them. I mean, already, just, in case you guys are ever wanting to make the mistake of going into the chemical drug model, the same products in Canada cost 3 or 4 times as much as the products in the United States because our regulatory burden increases the costs for our manufacturers. So we're already in a position where, lower income Canadians, they're already fully in the chemical drug model that the government provides for free, and they have no other choice. So we're basically facing a train wreck is where we're going. If you want to find out more about this, I'd invite you to visit. There's a nonprofit that I work with called the Natural Health Product Protection Association, and their website is nhppa.org. Again, nhppa.org. There's a there's a whole bunch of documentations and videos and the like on there to let you know. But this is part of international harmonization of drug regulations. And it's no coincidence that the World Health Organization is now looking into how we should regulate and verify natural health products. So it's going to be coming around the world because this isn't originating in Canada. We're just the first, we're the canary in the coal mine.